Why? Why is it that although you might have been doing a lot of different trainings for manifesting money, you are still not where you want to be financially? Hi, welcome to MoneyFest Live. We are doing a MoneyFest Live preview here on Livestream, and I'd love to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? Who are you? Are you on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram? Let us know all about your business. And please let me know, can you relate with that thought, with that question as to why, if you've been doing all the work of working on yourself, you're not yet financially free or you're not feeling financially free? Hi, if this is your first time joining me, I'm Evie Diaz, financial empowerment speaker, financial trauma healer, and author. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some thoughts about how to heal financial trauma. Financial trauma to become financially free. Let's first begin by defining what financial trauma is. Now, how would you define financial trauma? That's first things. How do you define it? So, financial trauma really is defined by what I call a financially traumatic incident in your life. Now, why is this important for us to know and differentiate the difference between financial trauma versus financial stress? Now, recently, about 2 weeks ago, I did a short interview where I shared my thoughts and my research on this topic of financial trauma. Today, for those of you who did not tune in, and for those of you who are feeling anxious, frustrated, or perhaps wondering why, if you have invested so much time, energy, and money in working on yourself, it could be because maybe you've gone to some type of psychotherapy. Maybe you've worked with some coach. Maybe you've taken a lot of financial or money healing classes or money manifesting, and yet you are not exactly experiencing the type of financial freedom you want. So, first of all, as we're starting, let's set the room. I hope you can hear these. Let's set the intention, which is, by the way, one of the ways that I like to begin my day by setting the intention. I usually have music, but for today, I'm going to use this. And so, for the intention for today is to release, relax, rejoice in the now present moment. And as we do that, let's relax into this new understanding of ourselves. Now, let's keep an open mind, an open heart, and open ears so that we can hear the messages from within us, because those are the most important messages. And let's keep an open mind so that we can be open and receptive to listening and understanding things, perhaps once again, perhaps over and over, or perhaps in a different way. And let's be open and receptive to the possibility of a miracle as defined as a change in consciousness, a change in awareness. And let's become conscious to this present moment. So, first of all, financial trauma. Financial trauma is any traumatic event that has developed some money scripts in your life. So let's go into that. So, what can be construed as a financial traumatic incident? That's the term that I like to use, financially traumatic incident. A financially traumatic incident, and jot down some notes if you would like on your journal or your notebook. Here are my two pens that I've been using. And write about whether or not you experienced, let's say, a bankruptcy. Or perhaps were you born into poverty like I was? Or perhaps you were in a home and lost your home, or perhaps someone stole some money from you, a lot of money from you, that massively impacted your life. Or perhaps you were very, very ill and landed in a hospital and had to declare bankruptcy because you didn't have health insurance and lost all your financial assets, all your cash. All of those can be incidents that are causes for financial trauma. And by the way, my friend, all of those are financially traumatic incidents that I suffered through. That's right. From being in a hospital so ill that I almost died, coming out and not having health insurance and having to declare bankruptcy because I had over $250,000 worth of bills from the hospital and the doctors who treated me at the hospital, to having a home and being homeless, to having a certain amount of money, over $100,000 stolen from me and never paid back as a loan that I allowed someone to use and never having been paid back, to having grown up in government housing, poor, with welfare and food stamps from the government to help me. So all of those are financially traumatic incidents. Now, it's important that we realize those and any others. Like, for example, during the pandemic, some people suffer financially traumatic incidents. Also, some people may have experienced a financially traumatic incident after a divorce, where perhaps you had a home and you get divorced and you are left out of the home because you have to split your assets, and then it turns out that it's better to sell the home, where neither one of you has a home and you have perhaps some cash or maybe no cash if there was too much debt. So financially traumatic incidents are important for us to look at and review in a safe environment, or as I call it, a safe container, with a financial therapist, psychologist, or in one of our groups, as this is something that we work with. And by the way, we will be working through this in our upcoming masterclass this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So let me explain what happens when we have a financially traumatic incident, such as I've already shared and explained, that we do not heal or deal with. We oftentimes develop what financial psychologists have referred to as money scripts. Now, if you've ever heard me speak before, you know that I've been using the term money scripts for about 2 years before I realized that a financial psychologist was using it. And so financial psychology now is a new field of study where they're looking at the impact and the trauma and sometimes the PTSD that develops, the post-traumatic stress disorder that develops as a result of a financially traumatic incident, as I have explained to you. And what happens is that when we develop these money scripts, so these money scripts are these thoughts in the back of our head, in the back of our mind, in our thoughts, or beliefs that linger, that continue coming up for us in different occasions. Now, how do they manifest? How are they seen? How do we experience them? Well, we may experience them, for example, if we are about to invest in a course or a business for the purposes of achieving financial freedom, growing our finances. We may doubt ourselves. We may be fearful. We may be afraid of loss because we've lost money in the past, so that keeps coming back. If someone has stolen money from us, we may be afraid of trusting someone to go into business with, because maybe we think that because someone that we loan money to or work with in the past has stolen money from us, that everyone is out to steal from us. So some of these money scripts show up in different situations and circumstances in our lives. It may also show up when we're about to ask someone to pay us the value that we offer for our solutions. So let's say that you have a solution to a business problem that you are capable of solving for an individual client, and you become fearful of asking for the amount of money that in good conscience you feel you offer, because you offer great value, right? So you're like, you know what, it's okay for me to ask for money in exchange for the value that I'm going to offer. And all of a sudden in your body, you start feeling something. For me, sometimes I feel it in the body, in my throat, where my throat becomes dry, where my voice becomes weak. So the body starts showing signs of this trauma rising up again as a money script that may prevent us from moving forward successfully in our life and in our business. So we want to be very conscientious about when these money scripts come up and how they deter. They're like blocks. They are not a productive way for us to live, because they hinder our ability to move forward successfully in life. And now, let me just say that these money scripts, many people, if not most people, have them. Whether or not you're poor, you're average, you're rich or wealthy, you may have them. That's right. Money scripts is something that is developed from a financial traumatic incident that may show up independent of your current bank account statements. Meaning, in your bank account, you may have millions of dollars, and yet you might not be what I'm calling financially free. Now, let's go into defining what financially free is so that we can kind of bring all this together to a bigger understanding of what's happening. So, financial freedom, I love the term financial freedom because I think that it is a term that you can define, and it is a feeling. So, for some, financial freedom may be being a billionaire, for others, a millionaire, for some, rich, maybe not reaching $1 million, and for some, it may be more than enough money to live the life of freedom that you want to live as you define it. To some, it may mean more than enough money to live and have anything and everything that you want, right? For me, it is really about the feeling, because you can be rich and wealthy financially and monetarily, meaning you could have lots and lots of cash, money, or even, let's say, you can be worth a lot of money because maybe you have the financial assets, and be not financially free because inside you could be broke and broken. And so, in financial freedom, what I like to look at it is from the perspective of this feeling of being in the flow, trusting yourself, trusting your source. And what is your source? For me, I often say that source, you can call it God, you can call it your internal divine self, right? You can call it this knowingness, this spirit, this guide. You can call it many things. But for me, it's an understanding that true financial freedom comes from my source. And that source is the same source that makes me feel at ease, that makes me feel loving, right? That makes me feel love for others and for myself, and for this overall feeling of well-being, being in the flow, flowing. And it is a feeling that really in my body, I am well. And all things are well, and all things are divine order. Now, is there a financial component to it? Absolutely. For me, there's absolutely a financial component. And so, which can be way, way outside of the confines of, do you have to have money to be happy? No, because we know that, and this is how I want to define it. And I have the word happy here. I love using this happy term because sometimes we can be we could have very little money and still be happy, and we may not feel financially free. So financial freedom for me is this idea that we are living in a place of ease and joy. And I don't think that we can get into that without us really working internally within ourselves and feeling good about ourselves. So for me, that involves daily work, right? And so today, this idea of how do we become financially free and how do we heal financial trauma? Well, for me, it is a daily practice. It is a daily practice of tuning in to that higher self, that higher consciousness, and realizing that although we may have suffered financial trauma in terms of a job loss, a business loss, a bankruptcy, homelessness, poverty, or even financial abuse when someone takes your money or misuses your money, and until we heal it. And one of the ways that I teach to heal it is by using what I call the FAB money scripting method of manifesting financial freedom, which has two components. One component is the healing component, where in order for you to manifest your financial freedom, you want to heal your financial trauma. And by the way, my friends, financial trauma shows up in many ways in our lives. One of the ways it shows up is through our feelings and our emotions. And some of these feelings and emotions, as Dr. Hawkins points out, calibrate very low. And so when we have these feelings and emotions of, let's say, anxiety, depression, sadness, guilt, those are low calibrating emotions and feelings. So energetically, from that place, we cannot manifest. So, for example, if we're going to pay a bill, right, and we feel anxious over paying a bill, then more likely than not, we will have to check in with our body and see what is happening. And oftentimes, our body will tell us, hey, you're suffering from anxiety right now because you suffered a financially traumatic event. You have financial trauma that you have not dealt with. And so your body is telling you by showing up as anxiety. Sometimes it shows up as frustration, and sometimes it could show up as depression. So there are many feelings that are low energy that are showing up that we're not paying attention to. And we want to pay attention to them because when we deal with them, then we can have a breakthrough. And then we are more open and receptive to receiving, because now we're more understanding and we're more conscientious and we're more conscious of what is going on, right? So I want you to understand this from the perspective of our feelings and our energy, which, by the way, is the first step that we deal with when we practice the FAB money scripting method. The first step is to look at the feelings, the emotions. So if we look at the first component of the FAB money scripting, which is what we're talking about here today, which is about how do we heal that financial trauma, and we look at the feelings with love, loving ourselves, and compassion, being compassionate towards ourselves, when we are having an experience like anxiety over either paying a bill or asking someone to pay us, right? Or fear, right? And we look at, well, what's happening? We can stop there, right? And we can go within and really dive deeper as to what's happening with those feelings, right? And then journal about this. Now, the FAB money scripting method is a certain way of journaling to both heal financial trauma as well as manifest financial freedom from the perspective of being in tune and in touch with first our emotions and not discounting them, right? Being aware of our emotions means when they are low energy, when they're low, when they're emitting a low frequency, like in when we talk about anxiety or guilt or shame, which are according to Dr. Hawkins, PhD, MD, those are the lowest calibrating emotions. So when we're in those places, we shouldn't be wondering why we're not manifesting money, because at that low energetic field, it's almost impossible to. When we are feeling so down and out, so low, like for example, if we are feeling the depression or guilt or shame, let's say. If you're feeling guilt or shame, right, is a very low energy that you're in at that point. So how do you move forward? So one of the ways you want to move forward is by tapping into, not adding, not living in that space, but rather tapping into your body. Say, hey, what's going on here? Why am I feeling guilty right now? Or why am I ashamed of asking for the money that I believe that my products, services, and solutions deserves? What is going on there? Where did that come from? Where did that originate from, right? We want to start with that, asking ourselves, where did that originate from? Sorry about that, my watch. Someone's calling me. Is that you calling me? So we want to tune in to where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Has that originated from something in the past that I felt guilty when I was a child, asking my parents for money because we were poor, and I used to feel guilty and ashamed? And maybe I might have even heard parents say to me, you should be ashamed of yourself for asking me for money, knowing that we don't have any money today, right? Or maybe if it happened later on in adulthood, and let's say you were in a job and you asked your employer that you wanted a raise, and they were like, you should be ashamed of yourself asking me. I mean, I know that an employer probably wouldn't talk to you this way, but let's say they say something like, you should be ashamed of yourself asking me when I just gave you a raise a year ago, and you know that the economy is not good, and you know that, we're struggling to keep the company afloat. And so maybe that was a traumatic incident for you. And because of that, now you feel ashamed of asking for money. So we want to, before we are capable and able, it's just my belief, to truly break through the barrier and the blocks that are keeping us from living a financially free life, we want to tune in to our money scripts. And we want to understand what is happening. Where is that stemming from? And we want to tune in to heal it. And so when we begin practicing the FAB money scripting method, the first step is to tap into the feeling, right? And to journal about it and to see where is it emanating from? Where in my body do I feel it now? When and where did I feel it? The first time that I felt it? And is this really true? And why am I believing this? Is this a belief system? Is this a BS belief system that I developed early on when I suffered through a traumatic job incident, or when I suffered through a childhood incident of going through poverty, of not having money when I was a child? So we want to tap into it, not to dwell in it, but rather to deal with it, handle it. And we handle it through journaling in a certain way and questioning whether or not that is true and it's real right now. So, for example, the idea, the thought, the belief, or as we call it, the money script, that I have to work hard for money, let's just say, we would look at where is that coming from and how does that make me feel? And where do I feel those feelings, right? So I have to work hard for money. Oh, I feel it in my throat. I have to work hard for money. I feel it maybe here, it's coming here, or, it's giving me a headache. I feel it as a headache, or it's making me sick in my tummy, right? Because I have this belief that says I have to work hard for money. And where did that stem from? Maybe could have been in childhood. Maybe your parents worked hard and you saw them tired and they would always say, honey, I got to work so hard to get you whatever it is you asked. Let's say you asked for pictures during picture day at school. And they were like, no, I can't get that. I have to work really hard to be able to afford to get you the pictures at school, or whatever it could have been, right? So that was their reality at that time. It doesn't mean that it has to be your reality at this time. So what happens? The more that we learn to understand when those sudden money scripts come up, how they're impacting our now present moment in adulthood, the more that we're able to heal it, and the more that we are able to pass through that and be okay with it from a place of safety and security. And the more that we tap into it, the more that we become financially free. Now, if what I am talking to you about today and what I'm sharing to you resonates with you, or it makes you wonder about your own financially traumatic incidents, or if it makes you wonder why you postpone paying bills, or why you are afraid of asking for the money that you want from a prospective client, or perhaps from an employer, if that's your situation, then I want to invite you to check out our upcoming event. I have an event coming up. Let me just share it here. Coming up this Thursday. And I want to share it with you because I believe that this event will be very helpful for you. So please take a look at this event. It's happening this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and is how to heal financial trauma to become financially free. In order for us to become financially free, we must first heal the financial trauma. That is what you're suffering from, right? We want to first heal that. And we're going to heal that through a process, through a method. The method that I developed called the FAB money scripting method. Now, for you, what I'm going to suggest is that you check out the link that I'm going to put here in the chat. I'm going to invite you to please visit bizniversity.com, Healing Financial Trauma. Check out that page and RSVP and make plans to join us this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, because this Thursday we're going to be talking about the different financial traumas and how do we heal the financial trauma. So if your intention is to heal your financial trauma, I want to invite you to come join us. And come join us with an open heart, an open mind, and with the desire to really move forward powerfully in your life, knowing that yes, you can heal financial trauma. So I want to invite you to come join us. And I'm looking for, I just put it in here, I'm looking for the, let me put the link here. Okay, here we go. Let me show it. I think you see it right there, right? So I want you to take a look at it and come join us on Thursday so that you can begin healing. And healing will begin as soon as we come together. We're going to create a safe container for you to share, and we're going to be sharing about how you can heal your financial trauma, so that even though this year may seem like we just have a few months left, there's still time. You can still heal your financial trauma. You can still make this a successful financial year for you. So I want to invite you to join us this week. Let's see. I have some comments here. Okay, cool. I want you to join us and come heal your financial trauma. And then, if you want, I also want to invite you to join us this coming Thursday at 4 p.m. So before the financial trauma, we have what we call our FAB, Fabpreneurs Networking. And that's happening this coming Thursday at 4 p.m. So I want to invite you to come introduce yourself in a fun and memorable way. That's the way we do it. You're going to be able to win prizes. You're going to be able to connect with people. You'll be able to synergize. And also, you'll be able to win this masterclass because we have what is called the Wheel of Names that we play. We put your name in there, and then you get a chance to win this for yourself. This this course, this masterclass that I created, you have a chance to win if you want it. So take a look at it and make plans to join us on both days if you can. Go up to the Fabpreneurs Networking and also make plans to come to the Heal Financial Trauma to Become Financially Free. So I look forward to seeing you on Thursday, hopefully twice at 4 o'clock and then again at 5 o'clock. The class will be for about 90 minutes, and the class is the beginning step to healing your financial trauma, because it is about 90 minutes, and it doesn't mean that your financial trauma will be fully healed, but we're going to start tapping into those incidents so that we can tap into how do we heal that? How do we become better? How do we move forward? And how do we begin gaining confidence, feeling good about asking for money, about receiving money, about paying bills, and having a different understanding about what financial freedom means to us, how we can live a more financially free life where we are basking in the flow of abundance. So, if that sounds interesting or intriguing to you, I want to invite you to come check it out, because I believe that you are going to be elevated and you're going to be feeling inspired and empowered to really heal your trauma and manifest more abundance, the abundance that you want. My friend, I want to remind you that I'm a believer that when you ask, you do receive. And so ask and be open and receptive to receiving. And the more that we heal through our financial trauma, the more open and receptive we become to receiving. So for now, I'm Evie Diaz, financial empowerment speaker, financial trauma healer, and author, and I look forward to seeing you this Thursday inside our Fabpreneurs Networking and inside our masterclass on how to heal financial trauma to become financially free. I'll see you then on Thursday. Thank you very much for watching, and whether you're watching the live or the replay, make sure to put your information there in the chat so that we can get connected. Thanks. I'll see you then on Thursday. Bye.